Hey, are you moving to Charleston and you're considering the Mount Pleasant, South Carolina area? Maybe you're moving from a new state and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not sure which place to live in. Well, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons, the good things and the bad things of living in Mount Pleasant. And I feel like I'm in a great position to tell you about this because I was born in Mount Pleasant, I live here now, and I've lived in other places across Charleston, so I can compare Mount Pleasant to other areas of Charleston. So if you're not sure where to start and you're feeling overwhelmed about your move, then this would be a great video for you to decide whether or not you should live here. And I'm going to start with all the pros at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to save the cons for the last. So stay until the end so you don't miss out on the cons. Make sure you get this right and avoid making mistakes in your home purchase, and ultimately find the perfect home here in Charleston. So let's get into it. So the first thing that people love about living in Mount Pleasant is its great location. So we're just about a 15 or 20 minute drive to downtown Charleston, right across the Cooper River Bridge. We're also about 12 minutes to Daniel Island and about 20 to 30 minutes to other parts of town like West Ashley and North Charleston. So you're just a short drive away from historic Charleston and all the other suburbs while still maintaining that suburban lifestyle kind of feel. So that's the first thing people love, is the location. But what comes with the location is the next pro that people love about living in Mount Pleasant, and that is the proximity to its beaches. We're close to 2 out of 3 major beaches here in the Charleston area, the Sullivan's Island Beach as well as the Isle of Palms Beach. The Sullivan's Island Beach is home to the famous Sullivan's Island Lighthouse and the Breach Inlet as well. There are also a strip of restaurants that you can walk along in Sullivan's Island. So there are plenty of things to do there, just within about a 10 or 15 minute drive from anywhere in Mount Pleasant. But perhaps my favorite beach is the Isle of Palms Beach. And that is right across the Isle of Palms connector that separates North and South Mount Pleasant. At the Isle of Palms Beach, you'll find public restrooms, a volleyball court, places to picnic, as well as more shops and restaurants. And that's just a short drive away. And the third thing that people love about living in Mount Pleasant, and I love it as well, is the convenience that we have here. Mount Pleasant is a fairly small area with a population of about 100,000 people right now, and it's growing. So it's a small area with a lot of convenient things throughout the area. We have tons of grocery store options like Harris Teeter, multiple Harris Teeters, Publix supermarkets. We have a drive-through grocery store, which is very convenient. So if you forget bread and you're on your way home, you can just pop in through the drive-through and pick up your bread, which is awesome. Of course, we have the Walmart supermarket. We have 2 Walmarts here in Mount Pleasant. And one of the popular grocery stores that we have here is not available to any other place. And that is the Trader Joe's that we have here in Mount Pleasant. Every time I drive by Trader Joe's, that parking lot is just packed full of people. People love Trader Joe's, and they're actually bringing another Trader Joe's here to Mount Pleasant. And you won't find it anywhere else in Charleston but Mount Pleasant. That's a fun fact. Aside from the grocery stores, there are also plenty of places to shop. We have a Nordstrom Rack here. We have the DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse. We have shopping centers like the Town Center, which is an outdoor shopping plaza with tons of restaurants, shops like Old Navy, Belk, and we also have the Oakland Market with plenty of restaurants and shops as well, and the Bell Hall Shopping Center off of Long Point Road. Those are just 3 of the major shopping centers we have here, in addition to others around town. Now, another thing that people ask me about is the gyms. Where are the gyms in Mount Pleasant? Of course, we have the typical Planet Fitness, we have Crunch Fitness, and we have plenty of boutique gyms, like we have Pilates classes, yoga, bar, MMA, boxing, really whatever you can think of. They have something for it here in Mount Pleasant. And I gotta tell you, I've lived in other parts of town. I've lived in North Charleston and West Ashley before, and Mount Pleasant by far is the most convenient place. I am about 1 minute to a grocery store, 7 minutes to 3 different gyms. So if you're looking for extreme convenience and you want to save time, you want to have options where you can go pick up your groceries, or just drive through and pick up your groceries, this is one of the best places to live. Now, the fourth pro of living in Mount Pleasant is all the restaurants we have here. We have a variety of restaurants ranging from Southern food all the way to international foods. So one of my favorite places to go for that traditional Southern food is Page's Okra Grill. They have things like fried green tomatoes, shrimp and grits, and other great foods there at Page's Okra Grill. Mount Pleasant also has great international restaurants like Pattaya Thai and Indian Spice Palette, which is one of my favorite Indian restaurants here. Not to mention that there are places like Shem Creek where you have a row of restaurants that you can access by boat. Some of those restaurants include Nico, Tavern and Table, and Red's Ice House. Of course, you'll find bars and breweries here too, like Ghost Monkey is one of my favorite breweries. And back when I used to play in a band, we used to play at Ghost Monkey Brewery. So you'll find tons of live music there, as well as other places in Mount Pleasant. Now, the fifth pro about living in Mount Pleasant is the parks that we have here in Mount Pleasant. Of course, you can drive to the Isle of Palms County Park and walk along the beach, or you can also go to the Palmetto Islands County Park, which is part of the Charleston County Parks. So if you have a Charleston County Park Pass for $70, or I believe it's $60 if you're a senior, you can access that park for free anytime. Otherwise, it is about $2 per person, but it's beautiful. You can rent paddle boats, you can rent bikes, and they have islands there where you can sit at different benches. You can go fishing, you can go kayaking, and you'll see the wildlife there. Like, I've seen tons of egrets and crabs, and it's just such a beautiful place to go. There's also Memorial Waterfront Park, which is right under the bridge in Mount Pleasant, and they're expanding it right now. So at the moment, they do have the pier for fishing, they have the playground, they have a field area, and tons of places to sit on a bench and just relax. And they're also building out another part of that park to add another playground, and I think they're adding basketball courts as well. So that's another great place to go. And if you have kids, it's great because I see kids fishing, I see them playing on the playground, and the playground is really interesting because it is shaped just like the Cooper River Bridge, which is a nice touch. In addition to the outdoor activities in the parks, there are also golf courses here. There is the Dunes West Golf Course and the Patriots Point Golf Course next to the Patriots Point. And while we're talking about activities, I've got to include the Boone Hall Plantation. So Boone Hall Plantation has events throughout the year where you can pick fresh produce, you can go pumpkin picking, they have strawberries there, and around October, they have the Boone Hall Fright Nights for Halloween, which is really fun. They've got rides, they've got a haunted house, and it's a great time for all ages. You can bring your kids there, but as an adult, it's pretty fun too. And the sixth pro of living in Mount Pleasant is the highly desirable, highly rated Mount Pleasant schools. So that's according to niche.com, not according to me. As a realtor, I can't talk too much about this, but if you check niche.com, you'll see that a lot of these schools are rated at an A. You'll find schools like Mamie Whitesides, Lucy Beckham High School, Wando High School. Those are highly rated schools, and that's part of why people want to live in Mount Pleasant. And after high school, we also have higher education options here in the Mount Pleasant area. Not necessarily Mount Pleasant, but a short commute to other parts of town. So just a short drive across the bridge in downtown Charleston, you'll find 3 major colleges and universities. So that is the College of Charleston, the Military College called Citadel, and the Medical University of South Carolina, also known as MUSC. That's a highly rated medical college. And in North Charleston, you'll find CSU, which is the Charleston Southern University, and also Trident Technical College. So there are plenty of options in Mount Pleasant and in the Charleston area for higher education. And the 7th pro about living in Mount Pleasant is all the beautiful established neighborhoods we have here. So there are popular neighborhoods in Mount Pleasant like the Old Village, which is a walkable neighborhood with a pier and restaurants and a famous pharmacy there. And those will be in the 900,000 range up to 1 million and more. Another great neighborhood is the popular Ion neighborhood, which is about in the 2 million or more range. and they have beautiful ponds. They have restaurants that you can walk to in the neighborhood. They have a beautiful canal as well. One of my friends actually grew up in Ion, and the houses there are just so beautiful, and there's a lot to do. And again, homes will run you in the about 2 million or more range. There are other great neighborhoods like Dunes West, which is a gated community with a golf course, and Park West, which is a large master plan community with homes ranging from about 700,000 all the way up to 1 million and more. Carolina Park is also a newer master plan community with newer homes if that's what you're looking for. Now that's the 7th pro, but we need to talk about the cons so you can get a full picture of what it's like to live in Mount Pleasant. And really, the biggest con there is to living in Mount Pleasant is the actual home prices here in Mount Pleasant. Really, everything is great, except the home prices are higher than other parts of Charleston. The median home price in Mount Pleasant is usually in the 800,000 to 900,000 range. And a lot of homes, depending on the size, will be $1 million, $2 million or more. So that is the one drawback of living in Mount Pleasant, is the home prices. So for a lot of people, Mount Pleasant is not very affordable. But if Mount Pleasant is a place that you would be interested in, and it's something within your price range, maybe you have a home to sell, maybe you're a higher income earning individual, doctors, lawyers, executives, that's the kind of people that we see moving down here. Also retirees. So that's the one drawback. However, if you're moving to South Carolina and you're unfamiliar with our property taxes, we have some of the lowest property taxes in the nation. We're about number 5 in the nation out of all the states and territories for having the lowest property taxes. In Mount Pleasant, the property taxes are going to be in Charleston County, which means that your taxes are going to be 0.57% of the assessed value of your home. So while you are paying more in Mount Pleasant, if you're moving from a place like New York or California where property taxes are sky high, you might actually save a lot by moving here. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Mount Pleasant or buying a home in Mount Pleasant, feel free to give me a call, and I'd love to talk with you about your move. I know just how overwhelming and confusing the process can be, and I've helped people just like you make their move here to Charleston. So we can get it done. So avoid wasting time, avoid making mistakes in your home purchase, and reach out below. I'd love to talk with you about it to see if we're a good fit to work together. And click here to watch a video about a Mount Pleasant neighborhood that is super popular among locals and people relocating here. Check it out. It's called Park West, and I'll see you next time.